Hey, what's up everybody? Chris here from the Protocase team, and now let me first ask you a question. How popular do you think rack mount designs are at Protocase and Protospace MFG? Well, we typically manufacture on average 10,000 rack mount designs per month at our facilities. So in other words, they are one of the most popular styles of enclosure designs with our customers. So when you're setting out to design a rack mount enclosure for manufacturing, the task can seem daunting at first. But for today's video, I want to chat high level about designing rack mount enclosures and give you a simple guide to ensure that you end up with a highly effective housing for electronics that can also be racked for extra security and organization. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about the importance of rack mount designs and more specifically 19-inch rack mount enclosures. Before jumping into your next design, it really does help to understand why the 19-inch rack mount is a go-to choice across lots of different industries. Governed by the EIA 310 standard, this enclosure format is widely used in IT, telecommunications, audiovisual, and scientific labs. It provides a universal system for mounting electrical equipment in a secure, organized way and most likely installed in storage racks. So here are several facts to know about 19-inch rack mounts if you didn't already know. The standard width: the front panel always has a nominal width of 19 inches, 482.6 millimeters. In unit heights, height is measured in U units. 1 U equals 1.75 inches or 44.45 millimeters. Interchangeable mounting: standardized mounting holes enable compatibility across different equipment and racks. These features simplify integration and assembly and make 19-inch rack mounts the ideal choice for housing electronics in professional environments. Designing a functional 19-inch rack mount involves several steps. By defining your requirements early on and keeping key manufacturability principles in mind, you can design an enclosure that looks great, functions well, and is going to be reliable for protecting sensitive components and the electronics inside. So let's look at these steps in detail. Number 1, define your core requirements. Now, before putting pen or pencil to paper, start by asking yourself about the key requirements of your design. What height in U units do I need? Smaller electrical components may fit in 1U or 2U spaces, while systems with more features or faster throughput may need 3U heights or larger. How deep should it be? Depth depends on your largest internal component and the space needed for airflow and cable management. Side note, we do have a specific tech tip about cable management, and we can share the link to that video in the description below. Next, what's the internal layout? Roughly map out where components such as PCBs, fans, or brackets will go. This phase will define your internal geometry, mounting points, and cutouts. So for systems generating heat, ventilation, or fan cutouts will be essential. Enclosures often include airflow patterns, bringing cool air in from the front or sides and exhausting it out from the back or the top. What material is best? Lightweight aluminum, like 5052, is a popular choice due to its balance of strength, corrosion resistance, and weight. Steel is much better suited for heavy-duty enclosures or rack mounts that will exist in harsher environments. Number 2, plan the front panel. The front panel acts as the face of your enclosure. It's where users are going to interact with the device, so you're going to want to think carefully about functionality and aesthetics, especially for the enclosure's intended use case. Controls and indicators. Where will buttons, LEDs, or displays go? Are they even critical to the project? Connectors. If USB ports or audio jacks need front access, plan their placement accordingly. Branding. Space for digital printing, silkscreened, or laser-cut engraved logos can really elevate your design's professional appearance. Handles. For larger enclosures, consider adding handles to make rack installation or removal easier. Number 3, design the rear panel. The rear panel is typically going to be the powerhouse for connectivity and cooling components. Primary I/O. Include connections for power inputs, Ethernet ports, or other interfaces. Fan mounts. Exhausting heat out the back is common, so place fan cutouts accordingly. Cable management. Features like tie-down points can really reduce the clutter. Now, number 4, internal layout and mounting features. So inside the enclosure, you'll need to plan for securely fitting your components. you're going to want to add standoffs or self-clenching fasteners for mounting PCBs in other assemblies. You might also need brackets or partitions for electrical isolation or mechanical support. Outside the enclosure, if the final destination for your rack mount enclosure is installed in a storage rack, you may want to incorporate drawer slides if you'll need repeated access to your case. All slides will mount to the left and right side of your rack mount chassis by way of 832 self-clenching fasteners, and once the slides are fastened to your chassis, you can simply mount the enclosure inside of a storage rack to allow to slide your rack mount in and out without actually physically having to remove it. Now, the good thing though, if your case will be put in a rack to stay, then drawer slides are not going to be necessary. Now, number 5 and the last one, prioritize manufacturability. Finally, a great design is one that's easy to manufacture, especially when you understand our capabilities and tolerances. Besides checking out our digital guide for designing enclosures for printed circuit boards, which is actually going to be linked in the description below, you're going to want to keep these other tips in mind. Allow for minimum bend radii, usually equal to the material's thickness, in your sheet metal design. We have lots of charts online to help you with this. Use reasonable tolerances, reserving precision for critical features only. Ensure accessibility for assembly, leaving enough space to install or service the components later. So now that you've planned the essentials, it's time to bring your design to life. There's a few different ways that you can work with us in order to get your 19-inch rack mount manufactured. Now, for the last part of this video, we are going to touch on just 2 of those ways, and for part 2 of this video, we will show you how to fast-track your design by using our in-house design software called Protocase Designer. So one simple way that you can work with us, especially if you are proficient in CAD, is to just send your CAD design to our team to further assess for manufacturability. If you stick to the above tips, you will dramatically reduce the back and forth communication and get your design manufactured at the highest velocity possible. Now, if you are in a hurry or don't want to start from scratch designing a 19-inch rack mount, you can use our free, easy-to-use template generator where you select your template style, choose your materials and sizing, and it will generate a blank template for you that you can then import into the CAD program of your choice to further customize. And that brings us to the end of part 1 of this video. At the end of the day, powered by high-velocity mass customization, we will do our absolute best to ensure that your specific rack mount requirements are going to always be met. Now, I hope this quick overview of designing rack mount enclosures was helpful, and stay tuned where we will walk you through designing rack mounts inside Protocase Designer. So if you do have any questions, please reach out to us on either one of our websites. We've got links to our contact forms in the description below. And until next time, take care.